What's up, YouTube? This is Paige coming at you with a little rant, or no, not a rant, just questions I have for the Christians out there about Christianity. I'm wondering, why is it that uh, there's a lot of mysticism in Christianity? Why is that? Why is it that you say God is a spirit and he is all and is in all things, right? So I'm thinking, could he be in this camera that I'm looking at right now? Or, could he be, or she, or however you want to identify God, could it be in this print over here? That just blows my mind about, Christianity, about, how God is just floating around, in the air, or up in the sky floating around. And I'm thinking, is if heaven is up there, don't like space shuttles and stuff like that go through it, on the way to outer space. That's my crazy son, okay? He just comes in here running.
Open the door.
Go let it down, please.
Sorry about that.
Don't come in here again.
Close the door.
Excuse me. But yeah, and I have just questions about silly things, like that. If hell is down there supposedly, why do we bury ourselves closer to hell? We bury ourselves in the ground, right? And hell is down there. Why bury ourselves closer to hell than heaven? Why not just, like make tombstones on top and then build up? You'd be closer to heaven. Just wondering. And, I'm not an atheist or anything. And, I believe my God lives here in me. And I am my God because I make things happen for myself. Things like that. And, whatever work I put in and whatever, work and effort and everything, whatever I put into something, I'm going to get something out of it because I put in the work. I didn't pray and sit here and pray and pray and pray and pray and pray and hope, pray and hope, pray and hope. And then voila, something happens. No, you work, and then you hope your work is fruitful at the end. But, I just don't understand, just certain things about Christianity, and it says in the Bible not to worship idols and all this, but people worship this guy, white guy, mind you, hanging up on a wooden cross with thorns, with a crown of thorns. Now, you all worship that. Maybe, you're so contradictory. I'm not saying all of you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said you all. But those who do know that you do. And if Jesus was a man, why are you worshiping a man instead of just trying to follow in his footsteps and say, hey, this was a great man who did such and such and such, and I'm just going to try and follow his example, versus, oh, he's the son of an invisible God who just impregnated this virgin woman and she just had a baby out of nowhere when man has been on this earth for more than, since before Jesus was born, mind you. Man has been on this earth for, I think, millions of years. If it goes back that far. Come on. I guess we were all uncivilized then. And then Jesus was born, and then the world became civilized. You know, I just, stuff like that just baffles me. I mean, it doesn't baffle me. I mean, it just makes me a cynic of the religion of Christianity. Because you teach us, oh, if you don't believe in this, then you're going to hell. My heaven, my hell, right here on earth. You make your own heaven, you make your own hell. That's how I see it. It's the work that you put in and the good deeds or the bad deeds or whatever you do. All of that, all the results of everything that you do comes back to you. That's how I see it. And you make things happen for yourself. Of course there's outside interferences. People say, oh, that's God working. God said, I shouldn't do this today, so I'm not going to do it. I think that's just baloney. So God said not to go outside today, so I'm not going to go outside. Maybe you just don't want to go outside. Just say, I don't want to go outside. Why make everything such a mystery? This invisible being is whispering in your ear, don't go outside. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I'm not saying I believe in tangible things you can see, hear, feel, or whatever, because I haven't seen, heard, or felt everything, in this world. That doesn't mean it's not real. But I'm just skeptic about, just a lot of mysticism and, ghosts, spirits flying all over the place, angels, people with halos and wings. Get out of here, man. Get out. Demons, these big monsters with jagged teeth and, leathery wings and all this. Get out of here with that. I have a good imagination, and hey, whatever's in your imagination, I guess you can make real. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, I was just, thinking about this, and I just had to get it off my chest today. So, peace out. A lot of you Christians gonna disagree. I don't care, but that's just how I feel. You're a Christian, that's fine. I mean, go with it. Go with what makes you happy and what makes you one and at peace with yourself. So, bye.